On the biggest stage in the world, FanDuel is changing the game because sometimes your player gets subbed off and your bet goes with them. Not anymore. With FanDuel Super Sub, if your player's subbed out, your bet stays in. That's right. If your player leaves a match, your bet continues on with the substitute. So you're still in it until the final whistle. Visit FanDuel.com. Get started now. Let there be goals this summer on FanDuel.
21 plus select states for Kansas in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino. 18 plus DCKYWY. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-MY-RESET. 888-789-7777. Visit ccpg.org/chat. Connecticut. Visit mdgamblinghelp.org. Maryland. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org. Call 800-327-5050. Massachusetts. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY. Text HOPE-NY in New York. Call 877-770-7867. Louisiana.
Visit FanDuel.com. Get started now. Let there be goals this summer on FanDuel.
At first, I didn't think it was real. I woke up to this blinding light, and I was transported to another place. Pluto TV. Then I heard a voice.
Come with me if you want to live.
There were thousands of movies and shows, and they were all free.
The truth is out.
It's just so beautiful.
On Pluto TV, free streaming of Terminator 2, Fringe, Arrow, The 100, and The X-Files may cause excitement, loss of sleep, and sudden belief in extraterrestrials. No credit cards or alien encounters necessary. Pluto TV. Stream now, pay never.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
It is the Anthony Cumia Show. Hello. I hope you're having a great weekend. Still got a little bit of it left, little chunk of it left with a Sunday evening, and I'm glad you've decided to spend some of that with me, Anthony Cumia. Thank you so much. Don't forget, if you want to call any time during this program and discuss what we're talking about, what you want to talk about, anything, 800-848-9222, and we'll pop down the phone line and see what you're thinking about a lot of what's going on. It's it's still so light out. It's just such a great thing. I sure hope Trump goes through with that, and we don't have to set the clocks. What is it? Fall back again at the end of the summer. I like a good light evening. Yes, indeed. Anyway, boy, a few topics that have the country in, may I use some harsh language, tizzy, has our country in a tizzy. First of which, of course, the Carmelo Anthony murder trial. Oh, yeah. I have been going through social media and woof-ah. The second you think, you might see a nice scene playing out of people getting along, people of diverse races and backgrounds, and, you're walking around, you see something, you go, that was nice. That was nice to see. Oh, my goodness. You wouldn't think that's based in any reality by going through social media, especially where this Carmelo Anthony trial is concerned. The division is firmly divided between the races on this one, at least on social media. And I'm not saying that is the be-all, end-all of how, of the accuracy of how we get along as a people in this country. But, it's just another thing thrown into the already shaky works. Another wrench thrown into the machine. And it just seems to be dividing more people and putting even a bigger wedge between black people and white people in this country. And then there's the division between black people and Asian people. because of the Chow verdict that came out recently. A store owner shot and killed a young black man that apparently had a gun. Was he running away? Was he pointing the gun at Mr. Chow? Apparently so. I don't know. I really didn't delve into that case as much. Truthfully, I didn't even hear much about that case until the verdict came out. And everyone said, well, both sides, again, divided by race and started either celebrating or complaining. But now there's a whole movement where black people don't want to frequent Asian businesses. They don't want to do any business with Asian people. And it's, like I said, just another division, another line of division. And, if you know anything about Asians and black neighborhoods, Asians are pretty much running every business in black neighborhoods. It's like all the restaurants, the hair places, the nail places. So I think their boycott on this is going to be very difficult unless they could find businesses in the community run by people in the community. But that had happened a couple of weeks ago, a week ago or so. And now we have the Carmelo Anthony trial. And from what I'm reading on social media, there are a couple of camps here. There's people that are completely basing every opinion they have on race. That's it. If they're Carmelo Anthony's black, I'm black, I have to support him regardless of what I'm seeing as far as evidence goes, witness testimony, anything. And that's just crazy to me, especially when a case has this much exposure and we're getting the information. I'm a little pissed that we're not getting cameras in the courtroom. I think that's really important, especially when you have a case like this that's so incendiary and people are taking sides and threatening that if this happens or if that happens, there's going to be problems. I really think the best way to at least try to remedy that by getting facts out there is to let people see exactly what's happening in the courtroom. Because another thing I'm seeing on social media are, journalists that have taken to putting their opinion out there. They're editorializing. They're lying. They're using rumor, innuendo, complete fallacy, and reporting that as what's going on in the trial. And this has got people so wound up. And then when a decision comes down and it's not to their liking, they just think about all the false testimony that never happened, the evidence that was never put in. They see that and go, oh, this is just another case of a systemically racist system because you've gotten nothing but lies. The result of the trial was based on evidence, facts, truth, and you feel like you've been slighted. So that's a big thing. I don't know why they decided not to put cameras in there. I don't know if it's a state or a local law, but as far as I know, the Constitution does say that you are allowed access to these trials, and obviously they can't fit everybody in the courtroom. So in that case, you could put it, you could broadcast it, and especially it's 2026. It's not like a network channel has to devote hours and hours a day for weeks on end to one thing. It doesn't have to happen that way. I know with the OJ trial, it was Court TV. That kind of made Court TV, put them on the map. And they were willing to do beginning to end coverage. Every minute of the trial was covered. A lot of channels now, I don't think they would do that. But the internet is wide open. You have so many platforms like YouTube, Rumble, that are ready, willing, and able to broadcast every minute of trials like this. And that way you don't have to listen to people twist and distort what was said in court to try to get an agenda across. Because I've seen a hell of a lot of that going on with this trial. It's like I said, it's very incendiary. This looks like one of those trials that could have people very up in arms, and we could see some George Floyd, Mike Brown kind of reaction when it comes to vandalism and assaults and looting and whatnot. If you've looked at the evidence and did not take the word of any biased reporters, so far, the defense really has its work cut out for it. This is a case, I think most people know. Carmelo Anthony, 19 now, is on trial for first-degree murder in the stabbing death of 17-year-old Austin Metcalf. This happened April 2nd of 2025. And it happened at Frisco Regional Track Meet in Frisco Stadium in Frisco, Texas, during a weather delay. You know the story, I guess. Carmelo Anthony wanted to sit down in the tent that was dedicated to the high school that Austin Metcalf and his buddies and his brother went to. He was asked what he was doing there. He was then asked to leave. He did not leave. Austin Metcalf walked up to him and asked him to leave. Carmelo Anthony said, "Touch me and see what happens," while he reached into his open backpack. Metcalf then, what I heard, was pushed or shoved, described by some as a gentle push on the shoulder by Austin Metcalf's hand. Didn't push him off the seat, didn't throw his balance off or anything like that. And the second he touched him, Carmelo Anthony pulled out a 5-inch knife and stabbed him once in the chest, pierced his heart, killing him in very short time. He then said, "I did it because he put his hands on me." And that's about that as far as what happened. What we are seeing happening now on social media are people that really, really do not either understand self-defense or are not willing to accept it, even if they see what the criteria is for self-defense in the state of Texas, in this county that they're in. I don't think the county laws are any different than the state laws as far as self-defense goes, so we don't have to worry about making a distinction between those two things. But we are going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back and delve into the trial, what the witnesses have said so far. The prosecution has rested its case already, 21 witnesses, and the defense started their case. They resume tomorrow. And, we'll get into this and your calls, 800-848-9222. I'm sure a lot of people want to comment on this. 800-848-9222. Back in a moment.
Hi, Diva. It's Rachel.
And Jordan. Yeah, hi. Quick question.
Why are you not spending your Venmo balance?
Yeah, we're concerned.
You can, buy stuff with it.
Ugh, you love buying stuff.
And earn cash back on eligible purchases.
You love purchasing eligible things.
So the money your friend sent you yesterday, that's today's ramen or rideshare or eye patches.
The skincare kind, not the pyro kind.
Spend with Venmo, then you can earn cash back with Venmo Stash. Venmo Stash bundle terms and exclusions apply. Max $100 cash back per month. See terms at venmo.me/terms. ID verification required to use a Venmo balance.
Hey, I like your new RAV4.
Thanks, yours too.
What does RAV stand for anyway?
To me, it's the Remarkably Advanced Vehicle.
Really? To me, it's the Runway Approved Vehicle for its amazing style.
What about Remarkably Adaptable Vehicle because of its versatile cargo space?
Or Really Admired Vehicle?
Oh, or Really Awesome Vehicle.
It really is the recreational activity vehicle. The stylish 2026 Toyota RAV4 Limited. What's your RAV4?
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show. We are discussing the Carmelo Anthony murder trial going on down there in Frisco, Texas. And it is heated, man. It is heated. The social media platforms are just full of people that are very divided on this. A lot of people know the story. I just, before the break, did a quick summary of what had happened. And from the looks of a lot of people on social media and some of the people even on television, on news programs, they don't seem to understand there is a big difference between being insulted and murdering someone and using a weapon to defend your life, because at that moment you feel your life was being threatened. It was in imminent danger of being taken. That is what self-defense is. It isn't about someone telling you to get up. It isn't about someone putting their hand on your shoulder. It isn't even about someone, if they would have dropped the N-bomb and punched him in the face, it doesn't even cover that. You have to feel that your life is in imminent danger of being taken. You are ready to be killed. Then self-defense is a case. And I've seen a lot of people that don't seem to understand that. They're trying to make they're trying to compare it to cases like George Zimmerman and Trayvon Martin. Well, Trayvon was unarmed, and George Zimmerman was an armed man, and he shot Trayvon Martin in self-defense. He actually won that case and was acquitted of murder. I see that case coming up now, and a lot of people that want to compare it to this case. They are not comparable. There was some type of verbal altercation between Trayvon and George Zimmerman. Trayvon escalated it to a physical altercation. He was punching George Zimmerman in the face and beating his head against a cement sidewalk. George Zimmerman had pictures of wounds on his head. His nose was broken. George Zimmerman had said that he felt he was ready to go unconscious. He had a gun. He thought that gun can be used against me. This guy wants to kill me. He's beating my head against cement. That was what that case was. And the jury decided, yeah, George Zimmerman had enough he could reasonably assume that if this were to continue, he wouldn't live through it. If you can reasonably assume, convince a jury, all the testimony, the witnesses, the evidence, and that jury goes, oh, yeah, if I was in that position, I would absolutely feel like my life was being threatened and I would have to do something, even to the point of using deadly physical force. And the jury agreed in the George Zimmerman case. Would you agree, based on the evidence we've seen so far, and I know we still have the defense's case coming up, but again, if they can't come up with something extraordinary, this doesn't look like much more than Carmelo Anthony was insulted. He did not want to leave the tent. When people told him to leave, he felt he was disrespected. And when the slightest touch was put on him, a hand on his shoulder, as many witnesses testified, he decided to kill the person that was touching him. Now, do you think that defense is going to be able to convince the jury that if they were in that position, they would have done the same thing? Every jury member sitting there would go, yeah, that sounds like a situation where I would have to kill somebody. I would have to take a life because my life was in imminent danger of being taken. I don't think so. I don't think any reasonable person would feel that that situation merits killing another person. So, like I said, that defense has their work cut out for them. Really does. Another little point of contention is the jury. When the jury was chosen last week, there was not one black person on the jury. And look, you have the right, the prosecution and the defense has the right to exempt certain people from the jury. They have a certain number of challenges that they can make against certain jurors. So if someone comes up and you ask a question, have you ever been the victim of this type of crime? And it's a crime that's similar to what had happened, the case that you're working on. I don't think the defense attorney would like to have somebody on the jury that has been through the same thing. They might have some bias in their head and go, yeah, I definitely would vote guilty because I've been through that, and screw this guy. And so it seems that a couple of the jurors of color, black and brown people that got up, had said certain things to the effect of, he looks too young. One guy actually said, I couldn't imagine putting a brother behind bars. This is why people were refused from the jury by the prosecution, I'm sure. The defense probably wanted as many people of color on the jury as possible, but I guess they ran out. If the prosecution would have run out of challenges before they ran out of black potential jurors, I think they would have seen a black juror on there, but it didn't happen. So how important is this? Well, I tend to believe, from what I've seen, this is my own opinion, that black jurors feel more compelled to vote based on race in some way, shape, or form in the case. That they might take that into consideration in lieu of evidence, testimony. It's just what I've seen. The OJ trial, if you don't agree with me, that's fine. Call up. Give me some instances where that did not happen. That's fine and dandy. I will listen to anything you have to say. But from what I've seen over the course of the years, and the OJ trial, we saw witnesses or jurors come forward and say, oh, yeah, we voted not guilty because of what had happened with the police and Rodney King and the riots. That's a racially motivated vote that the jury, at least a few members of the jury, gave. And there is actually a statistic about white jurors on a case that, as opposed to black jurors on a case when the defendant is black or white. And white jurors have a much more consistent rate of acquittals and convictions over whether the defendant is black or white than black jurors do. Their decisions show that they acquit black people at a higher rate than white people would over a number of cases. So, hey, it happens. It happens. It's part of the world we live in. So that's a point of contention, that there aren't any black jurors on this trial. And I'm sure if he's convicted, they're going to use that as a topic, a reason for an appeal, that they didn't have a fair jury because there were no people of color on the jury. So, I mean, it could work in his favor. They will get an appeal. It'll happen. But, all right, your calls, a lot more. You got to take another quick break, but this is heating up. We'll talk about this and other stories just starting here right after these words.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show. Welcome back. Talking about the Carmelo Anthony murder trial going on right now. They're resumed tomorrow. The defense will continue with their case. The prosecution has rested. This trial just zipping by really quick. I was amazed that the prosecution rested so quickly, but they put up 21 witnesses, and I think they got their point across. The witnesses were very consistent in what was said, and what the witnesses said really had not even an inkling that self-defense is something that the defense could pull off here in this case. It's just nothing that these prosecution witnesses said would let you believe that self-defense was the reason he stabbed Austin Metcalf. Breaking news, this just in, 5 people injured so far, that's what they're saying, in a stabbing at Penn Station. Penn Station, New York. Multiple people stabbed at Penn Station. Reports of at least 3 injured. Now it's 5. In a knife attack near West 33rd and 7th Avenue. Heavy police present, EMS on scene, with victims being transported. So that's a news story. That's great, isn't it? Isn't that great? I mean, a suspect is in custody after 5 people were stabbed Sunday evening at New York's Penn Station. Sources told the news. All right, nothing new coming out about that, but I'll keep you posted. I scroll on social media and catch the most recent news. Crazy. I mean, the stabbings that are going on. What are we, London? What is New York City now? London, England? Machetes? What do we have? Traditional religious knives and daggers? Is that what we're going to have to deal with these days? My God. I was going to take a call, but we got that little pop-up back in the studio. If you could click that off, I will quickly take a call. Let's see. A lot of people want to talk about the Carmelo thing. So, there we go. Okay, let's go to Boink Matt, Morristown, New Jersey. What's up, Matt?
Hey, Anthony. How you doing?
Good.
Thanks for taking my call.
No problem.
You keep saying the word tent, and everybody keeps thinking it's a tent. But when you play track in high school, the tent is the de facto locker room.
Right.
That's where kids take off their sneakers, put their sneakers, phone, wallet, everything. So the fact that Carmelo came over there to basically eject himself into another team's locker room is no different than if you went to Madison Square Garden tomorrow night and you tried to get into the Knicks locker room, right? It's crazy.
Yeah, that's what I've been reading too. These tents are kind of, it's your area for your team, your guys. This is something, sports, very competitive, and you like being with your teammates and with your supporters. And walking into just another tent isn't just like they were set up so that if you're walking around and it's raining, you could get shelter underneath it. These are, like you said, they leave their backpacks there. They leave any valuables they have. They know that their buddies are in there and nothing's going to happen to it. So this isn't just like, oh, can I get under this umbrella while it's raining? And he just decided to walk up. Yeah, that is an issue that they're trying to make more important.
You totally nailed that. You totally nailed that. And I'm sorry, I'm a little nervous. I didn't
all good, man.
Call. But I also was a volunteer high school track and field coach, which is why Austin Metcalf was there. Like, if you read the testimony, the track and field coach wanted him to be there because he was a pillar of the community. Like,
right. He was kind of the leadership qualities, and the coach wanted him to take the reins and, make sure everything went the way it's supposed to. Yep.
And speaking of pillars of the community, it's a shame that Gavin McInnes can't drink in 2026. Let's go. Free Gavin. Free Gavin.
Free Gavin. I got you. A lot is being made of the tent. And did Carmelo have permission to go into the tent? Did Austin Metcalf have authority to tell him to leave the tent? These are questions that are coming up, but they don't really, they're peripheral questions. They seem like a distraction to the actual self-defense case. This isn't a trespass case. It's in a case like, Carmelo Anthony walked into our tent, so we want him arrested for trespassing on our property. There is some relevance to him walking into that tent and whether he was allowed to or not, and whether Austin and company were authorized to tell him he couldn't be in there. It does, but the bottom line here, this is the bottom line. In a self-defense case, you need to prove that at that moment, a reasonable person could assume that their life was in imminent danger before they can then return with deadly physical force, a knife to the chest, like Carmelo Anthony did to Austin Metcalf. How he got there, where he was sitting, who said what to him. Did Austin put his hands on him? Did he push him? Did he touch him? Did he shove him? Okay. Would a reasonable person believe that was life-threatening? I see nothing to indicate that in what has been put forth so far in that case. Nothing. So let him argue about the tent and this and that. It's a distraction. It's to confuse jurors is another thing. When you don't have a case, you need to muck up the works and get that jury to consider something else than the important element of this case, self-defense. Get him to consider, they shouldn't have told Carmelo to leave the tent. If you get a jury that's arguing over, God, they shouldn't have. No. See, Austin was wrong there because he had no authority to tell him. That's what the defense wants. They want that jury yapping about that. And I just hope there's some sensible people on the jury that'll turn around and go, hey, concentrate. Here's the issue. Would you have felt your life was being threatened, in danger of being taken away, to the point where you would have responded with deadly physical force based on what they said happened to Carmelo under that tent? Would you have killed someone? Answer, no. Okay, now you know how to vote. Guilty, guilty, guilty. That's it. But, these are tricks that the defense does. Sometimes it's the prosecution that has to do the tricks because they don't have a strong enough case. But you just can't get distracted. And the jury is the only people we really care about that understands this. Because if you look on social media, you are not convincing a lot of people out there as to what the facts of the case are, as to what it means to say that you were defending yourself. Texas laws, every state, their self-defense laws are a little different. And that really is important. Some states, and we'll talk about this a little bit too, the stand your ground defense, because I'm seeing this pop up a lot. Well, Texas is a stand your ground state, and Carmelo had every right to stand his ground when he was told to leave the tent. Well, if you are thinking that and you are saying that on social media and you believe it, you have no idea what stand your ground means and how it's applicable to a self-defense case. It doesn't mean that if you're somewhere you're not supposed to be and people tell you to leave, that you can stand your ground and not leave. Go ahead, try that. Go to Texas, walk into someone's house, And when they go, what are you doing here? Get the F out of my house. Go, nope. I'm standing my ground. You best hope that person has a great sense of humor before he reaches for his pistol. Because it is so ridiculous to think that stand your ground in this case means that Carmelo Anthony was allowed legally by the stand your ground statutes that he could stay in the tent. It had nothing to do with that. Stand your ground is a great law. It means that when someone approaches you and is threatening you with great bodily harm or death, you do not have a legal obligation to try to get out of that situation. A lot of states have that. Someone could have a knife and they're standing at your door and you have a gun and they're not moving. They're just standing there. A lot of states, you could shoot that person right then and there, and it would be self-defense in a perfect world, depending on your jury, depending on who and what color or religion or this the perpetrator was. But let's say in a perfect world, in a stand your ground state, you get to stand your ground. It's you being threatened by someone with great bodily harm or death. You do not have to look and go, is there an open door behind me? Can I jump out a window? Can I do anything else but use deadly physical force against this guy? The states that don't have stand your ground, they want you to wait until the knife-wielding maniac is right there on top of you with the knife. But a stand your ground state, that's what that means. You are not legally obligated to retreat from a threat of great bodily harm or death. Was that what? How did that fit in? How does that make Carmelo Anthony the guy that is exercising stand your ground? He's in their tent. They are politely 15 times from the testimony telling him to leave. When he doesn't leave, Austin Metcalf decides to put his hand on his shoulder and give him the old, hey, get out of here. Hey, come on. You put your hand on his shoulder. Go, come on, get up. You're leaving. Wasn't a punch. Wasn't a shove. It was like, hey, I'm serious here. You got to get up and go. And he stabbed him in the chest. And I read people trying to say this was stand your ground. You have no knowledge as to what stand your ground means in a self-defense case if you think that's what it means, that he had every right to be in that tent and stood his ground. Dummies. Just dummies. And I see so much of it. Larry, Brooklyn. How you doing, La?
Okay, Anthony. Listen, I don't know what the prosecutor said in this case, but just as a side, I happen to be a lawyer, so I'm not coming from a layman's perspective. But he could very easily counter all of the arguments of whether he should have, all the irrelevant arguments, by simply saying there is evidence of premeditation.
Right.
Because this Mello tempted him with the knife, knowing the knife was in his backpack, knowing he was going to reach for it. He set up the whole encounter. So there's evidence of premeditation, which negates everything else, basically. He had a mindset to kill the guy. Now, I also want to point out, isn't it interesting how the threats that are emanating from the black community parallel the same threats of the defendant? If you touch me, look, see what's going to happen.
Right.
If he's acquitted, look what's going to happen. You see?
Yeah. There's a little hypocrisy going on that I'm noticing. Yes, Larry. You know what else, Larry? Especially with the knife. And first of all, let me say this. I don't know how familiar you are with Texas law, but there is no premeditation prerequisite to first-degree murder in Texas. It's just murder. You don't have to prove premeditation for first degree. First degree is all they have in Texas. It's crazy. I looked at this and I was like, what? They have manslaughter, but you don't have to prove premeditation to get a first degree murder charge. Because when I first read it, I thought they overcharged him. But you bring up a great point with that. Also, the fact that this was a folding knife and it was opened. He didn't get touched and then open his knife and stab him. It was opened. He had his hand on that handle of the knife in his bag. That right there is premeditation.
Yeah, he's done.
Esquire?
He's done.
Yeah. This doesn't look good for the defense. And, there's a lot of these armchair lawyers out there that they're just saying what they hear, and it's not at all in the real world. Some of these things I'm hearing. Larry, thanks, man. Just crazy. I see it all over. Just threads and threads of people that don't know what they're talking about. Now, I'm not a lawyer. I play one on this show. But here's what you do if you're not a lawyer, because now it's social media. You have to be a lawyer. Remember when we had to be doctors with the vaccine and stuff? Everyone was a doctor, and then you have to be a forensic expert, and then you have to be an astronaut. Everyone professes to be an expert in everything when they comment on social media. But here's what you do. You don't have to be a lawyer. You don't have to be a doctor or a scientist. And if you're not, people can't tell you, well, you have no right to talk about this. I understand. People are very impassioned about this. They want to talk about it. Hey, but I'm not a lawyer, so I can't talk about it. No, that's not what anyone's saying. But you better damn well educate yourself. Be knowledgeable about what you're talking about. The information is out there. You can punch up things on your phone to find out if this is true, if that's true. What does self-defense mean? What does it mean in Texas? And you can use that and your powers of deductive reasoning and pretty much rationalize what's going on and get into the conversation as an informed person. I know, crazy, Anthony. What are you saying? What fun would social media be if people were informed as to what they were talking about? And when big events like this happen, where we see a lot of people getting involved, they're very impassioned. It's a volatile, incendiary topic. You will see more idiots per capita than any other time. They want to get involved. They want to talk. They want to say my team is the right team. We win. And in doing so, they didn't take a minute to do any real research so they can talk about the topic without sounding like idiots and imbeciles. But that's what we're in, and that's why there would be a problem. And, people will feel disappointed. They'll feel like they were slighted. They'll feel like the system is against them if they were getting all the disinformation and not paying attention to any of the actual facts of the case. And then if he's found guilty, they go like, oh, well, what happened? What happened? I read what happened on social media, and he should have been acquitted. Well, you didn't read anything about the actual case. Okay, lots more your calls when we return. Stick around.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show, and a little more on that story. The 5 people stabbed at Penn Station in New York City. There's 5 people stabbed in a mass attack inside Penn Station in New York City Sunday evening. An unidentified, emotionally disturbed suspect is in custody, according to the Post. 5 people were rushed to Bellevue Hospital, including 1 person with serious injuries, 2 people with moderate injuries, and 2 others with minor injuries. Look at the whole smorgasbord there of injuries. An unidentified suspect is in custody. The individual is believed to be emotionally disturbed, according to the sources. And here's what we will learn in the coming hours or days about this guy. He was known to the police. He has a lengthy criminal record. He was released by a judge because he was emotionally disturbed. This is what we're going to see because they refuse to do anything about it. If you're labeled emotionally disturbed, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you're a murderer or someone that just goes on the sidewalk 24 hours a day. They look at everyone like that in the same respect, and they throw them back out on the street for you to deal with. For everyone in New York has to deal with that person now. I guarantee you, right now, mark my words, this guy was known to the police, a hell of a lot of arrests, and he was released from some other assault or whatever he was up to because he's emotionally disturbed. Mental institutions. They make jobs for doctors, construction workers, people that carve those gargoyles that go on the corner of the mental hospitals, people that make the bars for the windows. I mean, why is it now part and parcel? It is just, hey, you got to deal with it when you live in a major city in the United States, especially a Democrat-run blue city, which are most of all the big cities. Why is that looked at as something that we just have to deal with? Well, you're in a big city. Nuts are going to run around one of the main transportation hubs and stab people. What are you, crazy? Complaining about it? You're in New York. What do you expect? Of course. That's how lulled into stupidity everyone has gotten. Where it is accepted that mental patients can run around stabbing people and we just go, que sela. What are we supposed to do? Oh, well. It is out of control. Out of control. Sandra, Jersey, what is up, dear?
You're right. It is out of control. And what pisses me off, Donald Trump offered to help Hochul, by bringing the National Guard there to help her like he did in Washington. Everything is good in Washington now because he had the National Guard there, and he offered it here, and she denigrated him. So, you see, I don't know when.
Because it's personal, Sandra. It's personal. They don't want Trump's help, not because of the help. That's part of it, though, because they don't want their city or their state to look so bad that the military is necessary because you're not doing your job. That's part of it. The other part is they don't want Donald Trump to look good. They will cut their nose. No, not their own nose. They'll let some nut cut your nose off in spite to just try to make Trump seem like the bad guy in this. Oh, he wants to send his military and his Gestapo. Now, yeah, how about if we're not getting stabbed in Penn Station? How about if that's the end result?
You're so right. You know, I would like to see all these politicians come into the city every day and take a whiff of what we have to deal with every day. Look at all the pot smokers, all the drugs on the ground.
Dirty hippies, Sandra. Dirty hippies. No, I know what you mean. And by the way, politicians do come in. And that's when they clean up the little area that they're going to be in. They roust all the drug addicts away. And then they walk them through with an armed security detail like a president. And then once they're gone, it goes right back to being the crap hole that it was the day before. That's how they work. Hypocrites, Sandra.
The people have to get fed up and stop voting the way they're voting.
Fed up? Stop voting the way they're voting. Sandra, you are so adorable. How naive. You've been around for a little while and you're still so naive. There's no voting our way out of this. Look at who they voted for. Look who New York City voted for. Zohran Mamdani. Look who New York State voted for. They had a chance to get Lee Zeldin, who would have done something as governor in New York State, and they got Kathy Hochul in there. There's too many idiots that aren't going to vote our way out of this. Sandra, thanks so much. I love taking your call. It's infuriating, though. It really is infuriating. But this will continue happening. And I hear more and more people saying it's part and parcel with living in a big city. No, it's not. It shouldn't be. You hear anyone, especially any leader, politician, with that line of crap, they've just given up. They've just given up. And you can't allow it. Can't allow it. I wish there was a very obvious option to it. Okay, hey, where you going? Stick around. We'll be right back. The Anthony Cumia Show, and boy, I hope people feel safe. I hope they feel safe in New York. The Knicks, they lead 2-0, 2-0 over the Spurs, and they're playing in Madison Square Garden. For those of you around the country that don't know, Madison Square Garden is Penn Station. That's where it is. Everyone that goes to Madison Square Garden, most of them come through Penn Station. 5 people stabbed in Penn Station this evening by some emotionally disturbed guy. And like I said before the break, I'm certain they will say, oh, he was known to the police. Oh, he was arrested 1,000 times. Here's his rap sheet. Here's the judge that let him out. Happens all the time. So be safe. Be safe out there. But hey, I'd be remiss in my duties if I didn't tell you about FanDuel Predicts. That's right. With the game coming up at Madison Square Garden, can you bet if you'll get stabbed going in? I wonder. I hope not. And I certainly hope that doesn't happen to anybody. But, yeah, a lot of people are really, really excited that the Knicks could pull this off. Another couple of wins, and it's theirs. So, Game 3, Monday, tomorrow. And what are you going to do? Watch it and be disinterested? Or are you going to maybe put a little wager with FanDuel Predicts? And you don't even have to bet on the game. Bet on different players. How many points are they going to score? Some of those prop bets that are so popular. Because that's what FanDuel Predicts is. It's a prediction market. Bet on anything. How about this? Did you get your bet in on FanDuel Predicts about the L.A. mayor race? Because if you bet that Rahman, that candidate Rahman, was going to beat Pratt to take over second place for the runoff between Bass in November, well, that would have been a good one. Because it certainly wasn't expected. I don't know what kind of hijinks and shenanigans went on, but you could bet on those kind of things. It's not just sports. Is that still going on in Iran? Is there still some kind of a battle, war going on there? Bet on that. Will there be peace treaty? Will the ceasefire blow up? And what about if you're looking at some of these bets and you go, oh, look, I don't even know about this. Well, other people have already bet, so you get kind of a line on what might be a little more advantageous for you to bet on. That's how it works. FanDuel Predicts, whether it's, basically betting on a team. Hey, I think the Knicks will win tomorrow. You could bet on that. Or you could get more in depth. You could bet on things that have nothing to do with sports. FanDuel Predicts. That is it, my friends. Offered by FanDuel Prediction Markets, LLC, a registered futures commission merchant. 18 plus. Bonus is non-withdrawable and expires 7 days after receipt. Trading derivatives involve significant risk, like going to Madison Square Garden, and may not be suitable for all investors. Manage your activity with our consumer protection tools. Restrictions apply. See terms at FanDuel.com/predict/bonus-offer-terms. Thank you, FanDuel Predicts. And let's go right back to these ding-dong phones. And we're going to London, England, the UK. Nick, what's up, Nick?
Anthony.
How you doing?
Very, Good evening to you. And first and foremost, may I say, I appreciate you pronounce and announce the English language beautifully.
Well, thank you,
thank
sir.
You for that, sir. No. And I'm not blowing smoke up your bottom, as they say. And we have spoken before in a previous life for both of us. When I used to listen to satellite radio when I was trucking across the good US&A, and of course you was broadcasting on satellite
The old
radio.
Opie and Anthony radio show on Sirius XM. I recall.
And when I exit this conversation, you do know what I'm going to say. But, yeah. And yesterday, of course, was, of course, the D-Day landings, 6 of the 6. Yeah.
Yesterday, of course, were the anniversary of the D-Day landings in Normandy and the invasion, Europe, the European
and my God,
invasion.
And I will say, you guys, I mean, you were going up cliffs or steep embankments. My God, those beaches that you had to take the bridge.
Oh, the hard one. The Canadians. Where were the Canadians out on Sword Beach? They put blankets out. They were getting suntans.
Yeah.
They were getting suntans.
Yeah. Exactly.
I tease, of course.
Exactly.
They were all heroes. Thank you. Nick.
Absolutely.
Nick, there's a situation going on. There's a situation going on over there with Henry Nowak, the Henry Nowak case. This kid was stabbed by illegal, I don't know if they were illegal, but they were immigrants, just savage, a savage stabbing. And they had said to the police when the police arrived that Henry had called them names, had made some racial insults to them. So what did they do? They took this kid who was bleeding to death, handcuffed him, wouldn't listen to him when he said he couldn't breathe, and he really couldn't. He was bleeding to death, and arrested him for insulting these banner citizens from the UK. What's the mood? What's the thought going on over there as far as this case goes, Nick?
Anthony, let me just say this. Let's just think back. The last words this kid heard was, "You're under arrest."
Oh, my God.
Handcuffed. As he's bleeding out. He's bleeding out.
Unreal.
Yeah?
Unreal.
And they go, I've been stabbed. You know, and the kid's going, "I've been stabbed." And the police officer says, "I don't think so." And fortunately, we now have the body cam evidence from the police officers that were involved in that arrest, and it's been made public. And we're like,
do you think these police officers, Nick? Do you think these police officers are going to face any retribution for what they did?
Probably not. And also, recently, it's now been, how can I say, publicised that the playbook that the police go by is that depending on the nationality,
of course,
or the heritage,
they always will give the benefit of the doubt to the immigrant that comes there from Pakistan or India or North Africa or Sub-Saharan Africa, anyone but a white English person. They do not get the benefit of the doubt, even if they're laying on the sidewalk bleeding to death. They'll be the one that gets handcuffed because of an insult, supposed. I don't know. I don't even know if that's true. And when they cuffed him, that photo, that video, the guy's hand is ghostly white. How do they not know? Aren't they supposed to have some type of knowledge about people's health and whether they look like someone that is in medical distress? And they were so fixated on this horrible guy might have said something to these immigrants that they didn't even take that into consideration. They cuffed him and let him die there.
Yes, it Now, Anthony, and I'm sure you're aware, I mean, we over here in the UK, back in the day, what happened in Minneapolis with, where everyone was taking the knee.
Oh, right. Georgia Floyd, St. Georgia Floyd, I call him.
Floyd.
Yes.
Sorry, I forgot his name. Apologies.
Oh,
but yeah,
wish we all would.
George Floyd. Yeah, but could you imagine as we say, the foot being on the other side? Could we imagine it if it was a black guy, or somebody of colour, shall we say, and not an indigenous white person here in the UK?
Right. Right.
You understand? I hope you understand what I'm trying to convey.
Oh, no,
here.
I do, because when you look at the facts of the George Floyd case, when his medical examiner report came back, it had enough fentanyl in him to kill him. He died of an overdose. And Derek Chauvin, the police officer, was doing everything by the book. He wasn't breaking any rules. The autopsy also showed no damage to George Floyd's neck, no damage to his windpipe, nothing. If you ask me, I'll say it that way, this guy died of a drug overdose. Now you look at this other case with Henry Nowak. This guy was allowed to bleed out on the street in handcuffs, and the cops didn't do anything because they took the word of some immigrants that had stabbed him. It's you could reverse the situation, and of course there would be riots and mayhem and stuff. But how about we don't reverse the situation, and people are angry at what we are seeing? Cops taking the word of murderous immigrants over the word of a dying Brit that is bleeding out on a sidewalk. It's disgusting, Nick.
Correct. And, that is exactly, you succinctly portrayed that correctly.
Thank you, Nick. I got to move on, though, Nick, but you be well. Be well. I don't even know what time it is over there. It's like, what is it, Wednesday? Something like that. I don't know. But go ahead.
All right. Well, you don't care. I know.
No, I got to go. I'm running out of time. I got to go to break. But, Nick, thank you, man. I appreciate it, my brother. He's over there across the pond, as they like to call it. All right, that was good hearing that, and that's a huge case everywhere. It should be a huge case over the entire globe. We'll be back. More Carmelo. I want to talk about Donald Trump unloading on an interviewer and walking off the set. Also, the L.A. election scam that's going on. So much going on. Your calls also when we return in moments.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show. Just keeping an eye on the big story out of New York tonight. 5 people stabbed near Penn Station last night. It says near. It was, from what I heard, in Penn Station. This is something. Amtrak police are leading the investigation. I would love to see that scene. The NYPD, they got the area roped off and some blood on the floor. They're writing stuff in their book. Amtrak police come over. Who's in charge over here? I am. NYPD. Not anymore. Amtrak police. Why don't you get us some coffee while we work this case? This has to be the biggest case Amtrak police have had, like, ever. I think he's on the train without a ticket. That's pretty much what they hear. That's what this medal is for. I got this one back in 93, kicking some guy off the Acela up to Boston. No ticket. So, hey, Amtrak, good luck with that. Have fun investigating that. The other big story coming up, and I was going to talk about this anyway, but latest development, Decision Desk projects Nithya Raman wins the second of 2 spots in the California-Los Angeles mayor's nonpartisan primary, which is hilarious, nonpartisan. This, wow. It looks like it reeks of fraud. I don't know. I don't have anything to to pull up and go, here's your absolute smoking gun proof. And I think there is smoking gun proof. It just hasn't been found yet and exposed, because it seems mathematically impossible that this woman could have beaten Pratt in this race. First of all, the whole L.A. mayor race is run in a way I like to call silly. You have your candidates, and on June 2nd, remember June 2nd? When was that? A few days ago. That was like, it's the 7th. That was 5 days ago. They voted. But they're still counting ballots. They're still counting. And back right after the actual election, Pratt was a shoo-in for second place, which would have given him the spot to run against Bass in November. Rahman actually started crying when she saw how horrible the turnout was for her, how few votes she had compared to Bass and Pratt. And now she's in. She won. And you got to think, well, how did that happen? Mail-in ballots. Mail-in ballots. This is sounding an awful lot like 2020, isn't it? And if you look at the graph, there's that suspicious notch in that very organic curve that goes up. People are voting. You're counting the votes. It's a very consistent curve because it's organic. And then there's this mechanical, digital step up. And that step up, those votes were going to Nithya Raman, who didn't get any of those votes. Pratt didn't see any of those. Some of them went to Bass. The vast majority went to Raman. And Pratt just sat there and watched his substantial lead dwindle away to nothing. And now it's over. She's the projected second candidate that will run against incumbent Mayor Bass in November. And we're not even supposed to go, hey, did you notice that? Don't you, election denier. Don't you even say it. No, I'm not saying. All I'm saying is, doesn't it seem a little, don't you dare. You can't even mention it without them go, oh, really? Do you know how many more Democrats than Republicans there are? You had the two winners after Election Day. Election Day. Not election week, not election month, not Election Day for the polls, and then election week for mail-in, election month for absentee. No. This is not the way this works. This is supposed to be an election day. And everyone goes out and votes, and you count the votes quickly. It's the same thing with the 2020 election. Why is it taking so? What pipe broke? Did a pipe break in L.A. where they were counting the votes? Did they put big poster board up in L.A. where they were counting the votes so no one could peek in and, God forbid, see fraud happening as they're pulling ballots out of suitcases? Then you got to think about the districts that they're getting these votes from. And a lot of these mail-in ballots that went predominantly for Nithya Raman were coming from some of the worst areas in Los Angeles. Homeless areas, bums, criminals. Where are they getting the ballots? What are they putting down as their address? The box on Skid Row? Yeah, I reside in the box on East Main, Skid Row. Please. And this is what we have to look at and just accept because that's what they told us. And this set off old Donald J. I guess it was Saturday or Friday night, Saturday. He had taped an interview with Meet the Press, and he walked. He walked on it. We got the clip. We'll play that after the break. But this, like I said, we're not even allowed to say this looks like fraud. Could someone please really look into this because it looks like fraud? You get looks from the left and from Democrats going like, oh, how dare you? How dare you say that? Why? It doesn't look weird that you allow this? And the interviewer that was talking to Trump where he walked out, she said, this is how it's done in Los Angeles. Every time he said that there was some type of fraud being perpetrated in Los Angeles during this election, all her answer was, no, this is how the vote is done. What? With fraud? By letting anyone vote anytime for weeks on end, getting ballots to homeless people, slipping them a few bucks for their name, and using that to get your candidate over? And we're not supposed to say anything about it, huh? That's how it works. Well, this really needs to be looked at. I think this really, really needs to be looked at. Just ridiculous. Okay, that and a lot more when we return in moments. The Anthony Cumia Show, and I'm scrolling through X, looking at some comments under some of the posts that have let everybody know that Rahman has beaten Pratt for the second place behind Bass, and there's going to be a runoff in November between Bass and Rahman. If you look at the L.A. mayoral race, the votes cast only on Election Day. You know, like it's supposed to be done. Mail-in votes, absentee votes are supposed to be such a small number of votes for people that couldn't be there. They're handicapped, can't leave the house. No one could take them to the polling places. This mail-in voting is completely fraudulent. It is being used now for nothing more than fraud. Not to help handicapped people, not to get people that have to vote the next day. None of it makes sense unless you factor in they want to steal elections. And let's look at it. The votes cast only on Election Day. This would have been the vote tally had they stopped voting on Election Day, like normal democratic countries do. Votes cast only on Election Day. Pratt had 34.5%. He was beating Bass at 29.4 and Rahman with 26. Latest vote batch, Rahman has 40% of the new latest votes coming in. She got 19,000 votes, 20,000 votes just about. How is this possible? And Pratt's total in percent went down because the other two, especially Rahman, were getting so many votes. And Pratt didn't get any? I guess not. That's what happens when you pay homeless people to get their names so you could put their name on a ballot. Why do you think they're not cleaning up the homeless problem? Isn't it a great strategy that you keep so many people destitute and poor and broke and hungry. And then you can go up to them with a handful of ballots and toss them $20. Could you just sign right here for $20? And they do it. Why wouldn't you keep as many homeless and illegals as possible? They don't check. There's no ID needed to vote. You don't have to have your ballot confirmed by anybody. They're self-confirming. If you signed it, well, it's got to be real. Some guy's got a graph up here going totally normal voting patterns, and it's not. It's all spiky and ridiculous. Here's another one, rigged. Our elections in California are rigged. We ousted Newsom in the recall election. He stopped that. We need feds to investigate. That's what it is. Congrats to all the homeless mail-in voters on Skid Row for helping get Nithya over the finish line. They might be cracked out of their brain on super meth, but our homeless sure are civic-minded. Yeah, I mean, the majority of the comments on every one of these posts saying that Nithya Raman is now the number 2 candidate, the comments are all, this is garbage, this is fraud, this is a lie. Unbelievable. Wow. Well, Donald Trump was doing an interview with NBC, I believe it was. And he was none too happy with the way he was being treated in the interview. And he was being talked over a lot. What's the woman's name? Let me see. Kristen Walker. She was doing the interview with Trump, and anytime Trump would try to answer her, she would just start rambling over him. And then when the subject of the election came up, the L.A. mayoral election, Trump was saying, this just looks terrible. It looks like fraud, and it should be investigated. And she, of course, is towing that company line. Mainstream media cannot allow anyone to go on their stations, their platforms, and say that something is not right. There is a problem with the vote. If it involves something that they are pitching, their agenda. Their bosses have told them this is what we put on our channel. And if Donald Trump tries to deny it, talk over him. And he was having none of it. Let's listen. This is AC-10, the clip. And let's listen to Trump talking to this woman and then leaving, just walking off.
It was a dirty election.
Mr.
And it's
President,
happening again right now in California.
You've never presented evidence.
It's happening
that the
right now in
2020 election
California.
was rigged.
Right now, it's look at what's happening in California.
Where's the evidence to that?
It's
the
4
Republicans
days.
are doing well in
California. It's no, they're not. They're dropping fast because it's a rigged election. Let me tell you, it's 4 days, and they aren't even close to coming up with it. You know why they're doing that? Because they're cheating on the election.
Could you pause this for a second? Yeah. She goes, that's the way they vote. He goes, it's been 4 days, and they're not even close to finishing counting. And she just thinks saying, well, that's the way they do it. How is that a valid excuse for what they're doing as far as counting votes and how long it takes? Well, that's how it's done in California. Oh, okay. All right. If taking a shovel and smashing it over the voters' heads, if that's how they do it, would you just go, oh, yeah, that's just how it's done. That's just how it's done. So Trump is getting so PO'd at her. She's talking over him, and he's had it. Continue.
To support
all I have to do is look. All I have to do is look.
That's not evidence.
And I listen to people, and let's see what happens.
But, sir, that's not evidence.
Do you think it's appropriate?
That's how they count the votes in
Do you
California.
think it's appropriate that they have an election, and 5 days later they're nowhere close to picking a
State
winner.
and local officials acknowledge they are slow. They're urging.
No, they're crooked.
They're urging
They're
the votes to be counted quickly. That's how they
They're
vote in
crooked,
California.
just like you're crooked. Your press is crooked, and Meet the Press is crooked.
To be fair, I'm not crooked, but let's
Really?
Let's
Well, you
continue.
play right into their hands. then.
Let's continue.
You're either crooked or you're stupid.
Let's
you play
continue.
right into their hands with this rap. You know that these elections are rigged. Your network knows that they're rigged. You know that I won an election in a landslide, and I got 94% bad press.
But, Mr. President,
you know why I
you've
got
never
that?
presented
Because you have no
evidence.
credibility.
But you've never presented evidence that it was rigged. Let's keep talking about. I want to talk about Todd.
You
Blanche.
have more evidence. There's more evidence than ever presented.
Let's talk
Your
about
elections
You
in
went
this
to
country,
court.
we're like a third world country.
But, sir-
Your elections are crooked, and you're crooked, and Meet the Press is crooked,
Mr.
and so is ABC, and CBS, and CNN.
But, Mr. President-
You're one-sided, crooked networks. All right, let's call it quits, because I've had enough. Thank you, darling. Have a good time.
Mr. President, let's please. I traveled all the way to Wisconsin.
That crunch was him
I
stepping on the mic.
I know. I
I've sat in the
traveled
rain
all the
with
way
you
to
for an hour,
Wisconsin.
on and off in the rain, and I've given you enough time. You ought to straighten out your press, because you know what?
Mr.
A
President,
country can never be
We
great
traveled
with a
all-
dishonest
Listen,
press.
we
Come on, let's
traveled
go.
all the way to Wisconsin for this interview.
There it is, the crunch of the crunch of the microphone under his foot. That's fantastic. That is fantastic. A country can't be great without a good press, without a press that is honest and truthful. Their talking point whenever anyone brings up election fraud has been, where's the proof? Where's the proof? You're never allowed to present it. Even with the 2020 election. And again, I don't have any magical proof, but the courts wouldn't even allow there to be any type of proof to be shown in a court of law. They just wrote it off like, nope, not even going to look. We're not even going to look at anything as far as fraud goes because there's been no fraud. You haven't given us enough. And a lot of these judges, of course, were Obama-appointed judges and Democrat-appointed judges. So it's all politicized. And now we have this L.A. mayoral election, which looks like garbage. That's just the way they do it. But you take days. There are countries that hold elections with populations bigger than California that get the results in before the next day. Election day. If you want to spend days counting votes and let people mail in ballots that aren't even confirmed to be the people that are sending them in, then you're just wide open for fraud. How could you say, no, that's not happening? No, that's been debunked. Oh, stop with your fraud. When it's so wide open for fraud. Leave a bank vault open. Tell everyone the vault's open. Don't put any guards there. And then when someone goes, hey, someone might have taken money out of that vault, go, oh, stop. Why? Why would you say that? Where's the proof? Well, can we count the money? Nope, not allowed. But if I count it, I could tell if it was, nope, we don't want you because there's been no theft, no thievery from the vault. So we're not even going to count it. But how dare you say there was theft out of the vault? That's what they're doing. Where's the proof? You won't let us prove it. And even though we hate what they're doing, they're not completely stupid. There's a lot of what they call plausible deniability in there, where you could say, well, what about this? This doesn't look good. Oh, well, they do that because that's the way they do it. Oh, okay. Well, I'm sold. Oh, my God. And this is what we're dealing with. There's even a California sheriff here. This is clip AC-11. A California sheriff is just saying, yeah, this is just fraud. This is rife with fraud. Let's listen to this gentleman.
The way the voting system is structured, We see quite a few flaws. You're able to register even and cast a vote if you don't live in the country, as evident of his brother in Pakistan. And I think we have some evidence of 2 or 3 other people out of the country that voted.
Yeah, pause right there. There's evidence that people that don't even live in this country have voted in this LA election. And that's not proof? Oh, where's the proof? Well, this is proof. Yeah, we're not even going to consider that or look at it. You're racist and xenophobic for even saying that a Pakistani man would do something illegal. Oh, you racist. And this is what we're dealing with. This is their argument to, hey, something looks off. Can we please maybe just look at it? Oh, you're a terrible person. Go screw. All right, continue.
Approximately 2 or 3 other people out of the country, as well as people residing outside of the district.
Okay. The online voter registration system, it seems to be an honor system. Anybody can put information in there to register to vote. All you have to do is click a box and say that you're not lying, and then you'll get an email from the Secretary of State or something in the mail saying, thank you for registering to vote. And there you are. Once you're on the voter rolls, anytime an election comes around, guess what? You get mailed a ballot, right? You get mailed something to vote. So we found that a little bit problematic.
A little bit problematic. These are red flags. Everything he's mentioned is a red flag. Can you honestly just go to a website, fill it out, no proof of who the hell you are is necessary, click I'm not lying, I love that, and then you'll get a ballot in the mail for every election that's going on in that state. Does that seem like a secure system that they got there? Or does it seem like a system that's put in place that can be compromised, that you can commit fraud on and still have enough plausible deniability? The system in and of itself allows fraud to be perpetrated without much proof. Oh, yeah, we send the ballots out. The person filled out the website and clicked I'm not lying. Yeah, but doesn't that seem a little lax on security? Oh, stop. That's how we do it here. That's how we do it. What's your problem? Oh, so you do it so fraud could be perpetrated with impunity. Nobody gets caught. And then they harvest the ballots. There's ballot harvesting, where you fill out a bunch of these online requests for ballots. You click I'm not lying on all of them. And then you go around and collect all of these, and then you just hand them out. You hand them out to the homeless with $20, and they sign them, and you take them back, and you mail them in. And all of a sudden, you have a third place by a large margin candidate, large margin candidate that is now in second place and will be on the ballot in November for mayor. One of them, an insane liberal commie, and the other one, the piece of garbage mayor that's been there. And the only time I hear her name is when something is going horribly bad in Los Angeles. Those are your candidates now. Instead of a guy who was running on, hey, let's clean up this homeless problem. Hey, maybe we could do something about the crime and drug abuse. How about that? Can we maybe do that? Ugh. Oh, that guy. Oh, get rid of him. Let's get the two liberals that want nothing more than to destroy every aspect of how Americans have lived in this country. There you go. That seems honest, doesn't it? Doesn't that seem like it's all on the up and up and all legitimate? What a system they got over there. And the more they get away with this nonsense, the more emboldened they get. It is right in your face. There's a multitude of morons that can't see it. But there are so many people that see the fraud. And Trump said it. Where's the proof? Where's the evidence? And he goes, I can see it. I'm sorry that you guys are so good at fraud that you've presented it in a way that has plausible deniability. But that doesn't mean I don't see it and know it's happening. And there are plenty of us out there that see it. But they got the nuts out there, the lunatics that believe every single thing these people do. And they believe these elections are on the up and up when there isn't one indication that it is. The statistics, the graphs that you look at don't look like graphs of an organic count of votes. And we're just supposed to, well, that's the way they do it. That's the way they do it. What are we doing, people? Wake up. All right, back in a minute.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show. Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show, and talking about the L.A. election a little bit. One more thing to add, and I'm seeing this all over social media right now. Here's the question. There's no answer to this that makes any sense mathematically. How did a blue city, Los Angeles, only increase votes for Nithya by mail without increasing votes for Karen Bass? This is fraud. And you look at it, all of the mail-in ballots went to Nithya Raman. And Karen Bass stayed exactly the same percentage-wise. How does that happen? You could say, well, Democrats will vote a lot more as far as mail-in ballots go. I don't know what that is all about either, but they go, oh, the Democrats seem to vote by mail more than Republicans do. Okay, then why wasn't it divided between Karen Bass and Nithya Raman? Why did all these votes go to Raman? I'll tell you why. Because she needed every single vote to beat Pratt. She needed every single one of those. If they were able to split the votes and make it look good and say, well, no, Karen Bass got some and Nithya Raman got some, but it was enough to put Nithya over Pratt, there wasn't enough. They didn't have enough fraudulent votes. So they had to give them all to Raman and hope that their story, their lie, their alibi would hold. And if you look at it, statistically, it is impossible. You might be able to sell that Pratt gets 0 mail-in votes. Well, Democrats are the ones that do mail-in. Not a single Republican does it. Okay. All right, I'm willing to even buy that one. But then how do you justify that Raman got 100% of the mail-in votes? And the other Democrat, Bass, didn't get any because she needed every single one of them. It's the only reason. They would have loved it. They would have loved if there were enough mail-in ballots to make it at least look good by giving Karen Bass some of those votes. They couldn't, though. God forbid the election actually works and Pratt is second place and gets the runoff in November. God forbid that happens. It's so blatant. Oh, is it so blatant? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? There's really nothing we can do. We can bitch and moan about it, complain, point fingers of accusation, and they're just too powerful. They have too much, and they have the media. The left has the media in the palm of their hands. They work for the left. It's the Democrats know they can go to all these news stations and they put the word out. No, this isn't fraud. It's impossible. This is how we do it. This is what we're seeing. Remember when they were saying how the 2024 election was fraud because Trump won? And that there was no way Trump could have won that election because Kamala was so beloved and Beyonce and Jay-Z performed at one of her rallies and the crowds were huge and this and that. That's odd. Meanwhile, every vote could be counted, could be looked at. If anything, it certainly looked like they would have loved to have perpetrated a little fraud on that election. But again, the margin of victory for Trump was way too big. So they probably looked at that and went, oh, boy, that would be a tough one. This would really expose our white underbelly if we try to fraud our way to a Kamala victory when Trump won every swing state. I still, to this day, believe there was some shenanigans going on in 2024 that they couldn't pull off. And this one's marginal. They had to give every single vote to this woman and make it look ridiculous that no other votes went to either of the candidates. And you tell me it's just the way they do it. It's just the way it is. It's just the way it happens. How do we have faith in the electoral system in this country after the past few years, what we've seen over the past few years? With the election, the actual machinery of the election, the voting booths, the ballots, and then with the propaganda that they put against the candidates that they don't want, usually Republican conservative candidates. You have all of these mainstream media news stations. Thank God for independent media and social media. It's the only inkling we get of truth. But they use that also. They crap all over the candidate. They lie about them. All it is bad news. You heard Trump say that too. Because I won that last election by a landslide, and all it was negative news about Donald Trump on all these mainstream media news stations. Yep. And what are we supposed to think? Come November, we're supposed to smile and skip to the voting booth and go, well, I have 100% faith that my vote's going to be counted. I matter. My vote's just as important as this and that. How are we supposed to hang on to that faith in our system? And once you pull that rug out, oofa, it's over, Johnny, as far as believing anything that we have an honest, truthful government and system in this country that we can believe in, and our vote counts and matters. They are chiseling away at every belief we have, every institution, every tradition, and we're supposed to smile. Back in a minute. It is the Anthony Cumia Show. If you want to comment to me on X, it's easy. Anthony Cumia, just my name. I'm one of those lucky guys that got my name early on Twitter, and now it's X. So if you want to join any conversation I'm having there, or you want to send me a little comment, Anthony Cumia on X. I was just going through there, and someone was reminding me. I'll play this over the mic. I think you'll be able to hear it. But this is Nithya Raman on election night, knowing she lost. She's in tears. She's apologizing. Listen to this.
I hope you know that everything every person in this room is fighting for in this campaign has been about building a city that's worthy of you and every child in this city.
Oh, my God. She's crying because she knows she lost. CNN. They posted Nithya Raman pulled ahead of former reality TV star Spencer Pratt in the race for the second spot in the November election for Los Angeles mayor after a vote update Sunday evening. But given the narrow margin and the votes still to be counted, CNN is not projecting which of the two will join Karen Bass in the November election. Oh, CNN. Oh, the integrity. CNN is just oozing with journalistic integrity by not calling it. You know damn well that she is going, that Nithya Raman is going to be the candidate against Karen Bass. And you know that call went through somewhere. Yes, CNN? Yeah, too many people are calling this. There's still votes to be counted. Yeah, no, I know. We know she is the candidate. We know it. We know it's going to be her and Bass. But do us a favor. Don't say that you've called it already. It just looks too bad. Make it seem like, no, there's still votes to be counted. Yeah? Okay. Cool. Great. Thanks, man. Click. That's what's going on. You like my acting? My phone acting? I'm like Bob Newhart. Crazy. All right. Anyone want to chat about this? Let me see. Maybe Joaquin from PA. How you doing, my friend?
All right, Anthony. Good Sunday evening to you. You know, I'm going to start off by saying one thing. You know, we have nothing but weak, pathetic losers, okay, who just love to cannibalize victory.
Oh.
And the perfect example is how quickly they want to get rid of George Santos and lose a seat when most callers who were in his district said he was actually doing a good job for them.
Right.
And, you know, the left will only sacrifice somebody when it's expedient and they have no value to them anymore.
Yep.
You know, and, you know, you look at everyone with this Grand Platinum in Maine, right? They keep going after his dalliances and whatever else. Nobody on the left gives a crap about that stuff.
No.
You know? We have pathetic. Where are we going to get some hardcore people on our side finally, hardcore Republicans that are really going to fight this crap and save this country?
Boy.
You know, because I follow this guy from Australia, Jason Hode Beast, okay? He's a veteran, and he puts out, you know, doesn't have a big following, you know, but he puts out some really good stuff and talks about what's going on down there. And you watch some of these videos on social media about what's going on in Europe, like recent riots, I think, in Brussels of third worlders who are wilding in the streets.
Yeah.
Putting signs through car windshields. You know, what the heck is the matter with let's face it, it's a white genocide. And if white Western civilization doesn't wake up and smell the coffee, and I don't necessarily mean just white people, but there's many black Americans, you know, we have a shared history with many black Americans, with many Hispanic Americans. You know, Mexicans fought at the Alamo against Santa Anna.
Right.
You know, but you know, when are we going to have Americans that decide to get together and put all this other crap aside and kick the rest of the third world out of this country and straighten this crap out? Who's going to investigate? I mean, I wish there were some sheriffs out there in California or law enforcement that had the big cojones to go in there and investigate this election. And I don't see why the Feds somehow can't get involved.
It's called, what do they call it? Suicidal empathy? Or it's this, I don't know, I don't think it's instinctual. It just seems like a lot of Americans and a lot of Europeans, Germans, French, English, especially, geez, they are just giving it up over there. Just, they are so fixated on not seeming racist that they will do anything, even to their own demise, to say, look at me, I'm virtuous, I am not racist, I love and include everybody, as they're being hacked to pieces, quite literally in some instances. And I don't get it. I don't get that mindset. I can't accept it. And I honestly don't think it's the majority of people that live in America or live in these Western European nations. But it sure is discouraging and disheartening to see that there doesn't seem to be a light at the end of the tunnel for any of this, Joaquin. And I don't know what to tell anyone that when they go, because I bitch and complain about it, and they go, okay, so what do we do? What's the solution? What is this? And I got to go, geez, I don't even know. But I certainly don't think we can vote our way out of this. So I don't know, Joaquin. I ain't got an answer. Thanks, man. It's troubling. It's very troubling. This could be fun. Let me see. He just popped on the phone line. Kevin, Cleveland, Ohio. Oh, I haven't gotten a call from Cleveland in quite some time. How is Cleveland doing these days?
Cleveland's great. I actually just went and seen some really funny comics down at Hilarities on Thursday night.
Good club.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was laughing my butt off there. Anyway, I called you about. I was just in Pittsburgh. I'm actually on my way back home right now. I was working down at their Pride Festival.
Oh, working. Did you bring knee pads? That's very important, and a good bracing bit to drill a hole in the side of the bathroom stall. Did you make out well? Did you make some money?
I did pretty good. But I wanted to tell you, I want to just give you a little bit of a rundown of what was going on down there. First of all, I mean, the place was totally packed. I mean, there was tons and tons of people down there.
Fudge packed?
So the first thing, yeah,
I'm sorry,
totally.
continue.
First thing was, I would say it was probably about 30% like smoking hot girls walking around, pretty scantily clad. Well, you might not know; it's hard to tell. But and then second of all, the rest of them were like they must have just got out of their parents' basement or something. It was very
really
bizarre. Oh yeah, go figure. Hey, no, but check this out. This is really my highlight from the weekend. Is some of the vendors are starting to pack down, and they're closing up. Well, they had a cooler, and they dumped some ice on the ground. The ice that was left in the cooler on the ground, and they got out of there. Well, I see this furry, and what I mean by that, it was a girl with a tail, like this big tail.
Right.
Well, she walks over to the pile of ice, and she's standing on top of it. And I'm like, what is this girl doing? And she proceeds to use it as a cat box. And she number one, doing number one. And you could see going down her leg. But she was wearing shoes.
Wow. So right into the old shoes. I see my dog do that sometimes. They'll go on their paw when they lift their leg, and it's like, oh, what are you doing? You're going on your paw. But I'll always pat him on the head and say, good boy. Did you pat her on the head and say, good girl? Good girl. Let's go inside.
I didn't want to
Let's
get
go
anywhere
inside.
near.
Good girl. Did you do that?
It was half a freak show is all I wanted to say.
Okay, I got to ask you, though. Was she attractive?
No, not at all. Not that chick. But
that
I mean,
makes,
like
that makes sense.
Like, yeah, no, it was mostly bad. But
if she was attractive, she'd be on OnlyFans making millions of dollars and not out on a street in Pittsburgh peeing in some ice. I love it, Kevin. Awesome, man. Have a great rest of your weekend, my friend. Just nuts. They're all bat crap crazy. Pride. It is. I forgot. I'm so sorry. I meant to start the show by wishing everyone a happy Pride Month because we are, the first week, I guess? We're in our first week of Pride Month. Only, 3 more weeks to go. Everything I see that involves Pride Month, it just doesn't seem to be anything to be proud of. I saw a picture today on social media, and it was a pride parade, and some parents feel compelled to take their young children to these things. I guess, again, they want to go to their friends and families and go, hey, you know what I did today? I took little Johnny to the pride parade because I am so open and I am so tolerant, and I want my kid to be like that. I'm making a better world by teaching my kids. And you go, okay, so what did you see? What was it like? Because I saw a picture today, and it was a man. He had cut the ass out of his blue jeans, out of his pants, and sticking out of it was his butt, but he was wearing a child's diaper with little cartoon characters on it. That, and I right when I saw the picture, I'm like, Pride. How How do you translate that into being proud? How do you look at that? Leave your house with the ass of your jeans cut out and cartoon underwear or diapers sticking out the back and go, I am so proud of myself. This is awesome. Back in a minute. It is the Anthony Cumia Show. If you want to comment to me on X, it's easy. Anthony Cumia, just my name. I'm one of those lucky guys that got my name early on Twitter, and now it's X. So if you want to join any conversation I'm having there, or you want to send me a little comment, Anthony Cumia on X. I was just going through there, and someone was reminding me. I'll play this over the mic. I think you'll be able to hear it. But this is Nithya Raman on election night, knowing she lost. She's in tears. She's apologizing. Listen to this.
I hope you know that everything every person in this room is fighting for in this campaign has been about building a city that's worthy of you and every child in the city.
Oh, my God. She's crying because she knows she lost. CNN, they posted Nithya Raman pulled ahead of former reality TV star Spencer Pratt in the race for the second spot in the November election for Los Angeles mayor after a vote update Sunday evening. But given the narrow margin and the votes still to be counted, CNN is not projecting which of the two will join Karen Bass in the November election. Oh, CNN. Oh, the integrity. CNN is just oozing with journalistic integrity by not calling it. You know damn well that she is going, that Nithya Raman is going to be the candidate against Karen Bass. And you know that call went through somewhere. Yes, CNN? Yeah, too many people are calling this. There's still votes to be counted. Yeah, no, I know. We know she is the candidate. We know it. We know it's going to be her and Bass. But do us a favor. Don't say that you've called it already. It just looks too bad. Make it seem like, no, there's still votes to be counted. Yeah? Okay. Cool. Great. Thanks, man. Click. That's what's going on. You like my acting? My phone acting? I'm like Bob Newhart. Crazy. All right. Anyone want to chat about this? Let me see. Maybe Joaquin from PA. How you doing, my friend?
All right, Anthony. Good Sunday evening to you. You know, I'm going to start off by saying one thing. You know, we have nothing but weak, pathetic losers, okay, who just love to cannibalize victory.
Oh.
And the perfect example is how quickly they want to get rid of George Santos and lose a seat when most callers who were in his district said he was actually doing a good job for them.
Right.
And, you know, the left will only sacrifice somebody when it's expedient and they have no value to them anymore.
Yep.
You know, and, you know, you look at everyone with this Grand Platinum in Maine, right? They keep going after his dalliances and whatever else. Nobody on the left gives a crap about that stuff.
No.
You know? We have pathetic. Where are we going to get some hardcore people on our side, finally, hardcore Republicans that are really going to fight this crap and save this country?
Boy.
You know, because I follow this guy from Australia, Jason Hode Beast. Okay, he's a veteran, and he puts out, you know, doesn't have a big following, you know, but he puts out some really good stuff and talks about what's going on down there. And you watch some of these videos on social media about what's going on in Europe, like recent riots, I think, in Brussels of third worlders who are wilding in the streets.
Yeah.
Putting signs through car windshields. You know, what the heck is the matter with let's face it, it's a white genocide. And if white Western civilization doesn't wake up and smell the coffee, and I don't necessarily mean just white people, but there's many black Americans, you know, we have a shared history with many black Americans, with many Hispanic Americans. You know, Mexicans fought at the Alamo against Santa Anna.
Right.
You know, when are we going to have Americans that decide to get together and put all this other crap aside and kick the rest of the third world out of this country and straighten this crap out? Who's going to investigate? I mean, I wish there were some sheriffs out there in California or law enforcement that had the big cojones to go in there and investigate this election. And I don't see why the feds somehow can't get involved.
It's called, what do they call it? Suicidal empathy? Or it's this, I don't know, I don't think it's instinctual. It just seems like a lot of Americans and a lot of Europeans, Germans, French, English, especially, geez, they are just giving it up over there. Just they are so fixated on not seeming racist that they will do anything, even to their own demise, to say, look at me, I'm virtuous, I am not racist, I love and include everybody, as they're being hacked to pieces, quite literally in some instances. And I don't get it. I don't get that mindset. I can't accept it. And I honestly don't think it's the majority of people that live in America or live in these Western European nations. But it sure is discouraging and disheartening to see that there doesn't seem to be a light at the end of the tunnel for any of this, Joaquin. And I don't know what to tell anyone that when they go, because I bitch and complain about it, and they go, okay, so what do we do? What's the solution? What is this? And I got to go, geez, I don't even know. But I certainly don't think we can vote our way out of this. So I don't know, Joaquin. I ain't got an answer. Thanks, man. It's troubling. It's very troubling. Oh, this could be fun. Let me see. He just popped on the phone line. Kevin, Cleveland, Ohio. Oh, I haven't gotten a call from Cleveland in quite some time. How is Cleveland doing these days?
Cleveland's great. I actually just went and seen some really funny comics down at Hilarities on Thursday night.
Good club.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was laughing my butt off there. Anyway, I called you about. I was just in Pittsburgh. I'm actually on my way back home right now. I was working down at their Pride Festival.
Oh, working. Did you bring knee pads? That's very important, and a good bracing bit to drill a hole in the side of the bathroom stall. Did you make out well? Did you make some money?
I did pretty good. But I wanted to tell you, I want to just give you a little bit of rundown of what was going on down there. First of all, I mean, the place was totally packed. I mean, there was tons and tons of people down there.
Fudge packed?
So the first thing, yeah,
I'm sorry,
totally.
continue.
First thing was, I would say it was probably about 30% like smoking hot girls walking around, pretty scantily clad. Well, you might not know; it's hard to tell. But and then second of all, the rest of them were like they must have just got out of their parents' basement or something. It was very bizarre. Oh yeah, go figure. Hey, no, but check this out. This is really my highlight from the weekend. So some of the vendors are starting to pack down, and they're closing up. Well, they had a cooler, and they dumped some ice on the ground. Dumped the ice that was left in the cooler on the ground, and they got out of there. Well, I see this furry, and what I mean by that, it was a girl with a tail, like this big tail.
Right.
Well, she walks over to the pile of ice, and she's standing on top of it. And I'm like, what is this girl doing? And she proceeds to use it as a cat box. And she number one, doing number one. And you could see going down her leg. But she was wearing shoes.
Wow. So right into the old shoes. I see my dog do that sometimes. They'll go on their paw when they lift their leg, and it's like, oh, what are you doing? You're going on your paw. But I'll always pat him on the head and say, good boy. Did you pat her on the head and say, good girl? Good girl. Let's go inside.
I didn't want to
Let's
get
go inside. Good girl. Did you do that?
It was half a freak show is all I wanted to say.
Okay, I got to ask you, though. Was she attractive?
No, not at all. Not that chick. But
that
I mean,
makes sense.
Yeah, no, it was mostly bad. But
if she was attractive, she'd be on OnlyFans making millions of dollars
exactly.
and not out on a street in Pittsburgh peeing in some ice. I love it, Kevin. Awesome, man. Have a great rest of your weekend, my friend. Just nuts. They're all bat crap crazy. Pride. It is. I forgot. I'm so sorry. I meant to start the show by wishing everyone a happy Pride Month because we are, the first week, I guess? We're in our first week of Pride Month. Only, 3 more weeks to go. Everything I see that involves Pride Month, it just doesn't seem to be anything to be proud of. I saw a picture today on social media, and it was a pride parade, and some parents feel compelled to take their young children to these things. I guess, again, they want to go to their friends and families and go, hey, you know what I did today? I took little Johnny to the pride parade because I am so open and I am so tolerant, and I want my kid to be like that. I'm making a better world by teaching my kids. And you go, okay, so what did you see? What was it like? Because I saw a picture today, and it was a man. He had cut the ass out of his blue jeans, out of his pants, and sticking out of it was his butt, but he was wearing a child's diaper with little cartoon characters on it. That, and I right when I saw the picture, I'm like, pride. How do you translate that into being proud? How do you look at that? Leave your house with the ass of your jeans cut out and cartoon underwear or diapers sticking out the back and go, I am so proud of myself. This is awesome. Back in a minute. The Anthony Cumia Show. Scrolling on X, and I got a little update here from the Penn Station stabbing this evening. This seems to be a guy that was an eyewitness right there. He goes, I was right there. The guy was like medium height, black guy with gray hair. He came downstairs and was making weird noises and was looking at me and my mom. Right then he pulled a knife and stabbed a black guy in the neck who was standing on the left side. He was about to come hit me, but a few white dudes rushed to protect everyone, and we all ran backwards, or ran back. It was a very chaotic and a very unsafe situation. I don't know. He hit 5 people, but I saw him hit one with my eyes right in front of me. Yeah, that's what's going on. So that's the latest on the Penn Station stabbing. My God. What the hell is going on? Just lunacy. I saw a video from the Tony Awards. Oh, I'm a big Tony Awards fan. Do you watch the Tonys, people? Do you? No. The Academy Awards, bad enough. The Grammys, the Emmys, bad enough. The Tonys is even worse. It's like an award show, which in and of itself is garbage. And then it's, what's the word? Oh, gay. It's gay. It's all Broadway. And I don't know. You see clips the next day because, look, I do a show. I need to know what's going on. So sometimes I see clips of the Tonys. I couldn't tell you what the hell they were talking about. I've never heard of anything they're talking about. The plays, this one was the best musical drama in I'm like, I could not tell you anything about that. So Rosie O'Donnell has left her exile in Ireland to fly back to New York City to attend the Tony Awards. And she had an announcement. I guess she's going to be part of some Broadway show. So she will be back to being in the United States of America, even though Trump is still president. Seems like where, money and her ability to still be a celebrity, where that's involved, she could just toss this whole I'm leaving the country because of Donald Trump thing away. And she got an offer. She got someone offering her money to act and be relevant for a few seconds back on Broadway, which kind of discounts how passionate she was telling everyone she was about leaving the country because of Donald Trump. She should say, I'm leaving the country because of Donald Trump and because no one's offering me a job because I'm such a miserable, miserable piece of garbage. But you're going to be surprised when I say she got a facelift. She got some plastic surgery, they used to call it in my day. Now it's different. It's, it's whatever it is, whatever you want to call it. But back when I was a kid, I heard she got plastic surgery. It doesn't look good. So Rosie got some plastic surgery. I have a couple of caveats here. It couldn't get worse. Let's put it that way. Because she looks better. That's what I'm going to say. She looks better than she did before her cosmetic surgery. That's what they call it instead of plastic surgery. Cosmetic surgery, a facelift. She looks better than she did, but that's with the caveat of it. She couldn't look any worse. It was getting really bad. So I guess, she put a few bucks into it, and God bless. But here she is. She was at the Tonys. She could talk about her show. She could talk about Ireland, talk about her kids, the one that's still with her and the one that's in jail, drug addict, because she's a terrible mother. But what did she choose to talk about? Donald Trump. That's right. Let's listen to Rosie, AC 13.
If you grew up in New York, you knew he was a liar from day one. And I am 64 years old and my whole life here. So I remember when his planes were repossessed off the runways at LaGuardia. I remember when he was broke. I remember when he would call up places and pretend to be his own publicist. He is a con man, he is a narcissist, and he is a psychopath, if you ask me.
How do you think he'll be greeted at MSG tomorrow night?
With a lot of booze, and I'm happy to hear it.
Yeah.
A lot of booze? Like people toasting him with their drinks? No, I know what she meant. I'm kind of up in the air. I don't know how Trump will be greeted at the Knicks game tomorrow. He will be attending. The Secret Service put out a tweet saying that there are no bags. You can't come in there with a bag. Everything that you bring in to that arena, Madison Square Garden tomorrow, has to be on your person. You will not be able to take a pocketbook or any kind of bag with you. And I don't know. Sports people are genuinely or generally like alphas. They're men, not all of them, and I think they tend to like Trump. Like he's a dude. He's just a guy. He's a guy's guy. He talks about women. He's a womanizer over his career. And I think he's going to get a good ovation at Madison Square Garden. I think people will cheer like they do at UFC, It's different. It's obviously a different crowd. And people tend to think a lot of basketball fans that show up at the games are predominantly black, and people tend to think that black people don't like Trump. That's not true either. I think a lot of black people enjoy Trump. He's funny. He's kind of, reckless. He's willing to talk crap about people. And I think black guys appreciate, his gangsta attitude. Early Trump, you're fired. The New York City builder Trump. But a lot of white people go to basketball games. The only people that could afford the tickets, for God's sake. So I think he's going to get a much better ovation than people think he will. We'll see, though. It could be boos. It could be I don't know. But it's going to be fun to watch. And Rosie talking about old Trump, like we knew he was, she said a-hole. That's the word that was bleeped out. Like, that's why we loved him. No one hated Trump back in those days. You might have been like, oh, God, this guy. Oh, he's so full of himself. But no one hated him because he was a personality, a New York personality. When you would go to the New York Post and read about New York, the society pages, because he was so rich and everything. He was so much different than all of them. And it was great. He was part of New York. Still is. And for Rosie to be like talking about how people didn't like him back then, or she didn't like him back then, it's phony. That's a lie. She loved him back then. Everyone did. He was a character. He was a New York character. So it's all crap. But hats off. Hats off to Rosie, though, for the plastic surgery. It does look better. She doesn't look as old. It's amazing how they could stretch that much anger, resentment, and bitterness out of a miserable, miserable person's face like Rosie. All of those tight wrinkles and the lips. Her lips are stretched so tight just from yelling and being angry. And a talented surgeon came in and loosened all that up, I guess. Good for Rosie. All right. Don't you go anywhere. We're back in moments with a lot more of the Anthony Cumia Show. It certainly is the Anthony Cumia Show. Let's go to Larry in Staten Island. Larry, what's up, my friend?
Hey, Ed.
How you doing, Larry?
I put my bet in with FanDuel. I can guarantee you, at the next game, Charles Manson will get a greater response than Osama. What's his name? I can't believe it.
Who, Donald Trump? You think Trump's going to get booed?
No, Mandami.
Oh, Mandami's going to get a terrible ovation. And Trump is going to. I think Trump's going to get a good reaction. I really think he's going to get a good reaction. Yeah, Mamdani would get booed. Yeah, we'll see. Interesting. Yeah, go to FanDuel Predicts and place your bet. Larry, you want to talk about this Delaney Hall, Newark, New Jersey ICE facility that I will not call them protesters. These are agitators, rioters, and they are breaking the law every second they are standing there. Larry, comment.
Absolutely. Last night, 38 arrests were effected. Of the 38 arrests, two, Anthony, were from New Jersey. Now the question is, where are these people coming from? Who's supporting them? I would really consider that they take the advice of what Rudy Giuliani and Bill Bratton did when they got in '93.
Yeah.
Aggressively, you sit down and you turn these people upside down. You drill them, and there's no summonses, no disappearance tickets.
No.
You go through the system.
Arrest. You go through the system. You sit in a Newark holding cell in jail with other criminals until you see the judge. That's what these people need to go through. They aren't cut out for that, by the way, and they're being treated with kid gloves. And the only way to stop this is to let them see the real consequence of action of breaking the law like this.
Exactly. Because this is a condition that's not ending. So once you start putting them in, let them keep them locked up. Maybe it'll subside a little, but it's got to stop. And by the way, Anthony, I want to let you know next week is your name day, St. Anthony.
St. Anthony. Hey.
Now,
exactly.
My man there, St. Anthony, is the patron saint of lost and found. What I want you to do, Ant, and it works, let me tell you, I've done it 100 times for my mother. She told me, pray to St. Anthony. If something's lost, like your keys or something, just say, St. Anthony, St. Anthony, I'm glad you're around. Because something's lost and it can't be found.
How about the whole country? Can St. Anthony get that? Since we lost that, maybe if I pray to St. Anthony, he'll bring back the lost United States of America that I remember so dearly. Larry, thank you, man. Appreciate it. I was just looking. Let me see. This came in about 15 minutes ago from Nick Sorter, who's a great follow on X. Newark PD are going hard against rioters attempting to block vehicles coming out of the ICE facility. Several arrests have been made. This is why the numbers of rioters are dwindling. Keep this up, Newark PD and ICE. Yeah, they need to be hard on these friggin' mental patients, because that's what they are. I saw one woman, this was at the facility there, the ICE facility in Newark, the Delaney facility. She says she's crying, and she's going, I told them I was autistic, but he grabbed my arm, and she's crying her eyes out. She's wearing one of those Hamas rags around her neck, and she's got a gas mask and goggles, and she's an older woman, too. Some of these idiots, they convince these boomers to go out with them, to go to these riots with them. And then when there's a little consequence and one of these cops put their hands on him, they're beside themselves. What happened? I told them I was autistic. Imagine in that scenario, that situation. You got the cops and you got these instigators, these agitators. And the cops decide we got to move them. So they get their shields and they step forward and go, move, move, move. And you hit your shield on a woman and she starts screaming at you that she's autistic. What's in her dumb mental head that the cop is going to drop a shield and go, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Guys, she's autistic. And they all go, oh, all right, guys, pack it up because she's autistic. They are so self-centered and so concerned with what is going on with their little life that they can't even consider anything else. They can't look at this situation and go, I am one of a bunch of people that are getting in the way of these cops doing their job. And I have to completely expect consequences when they decide enough is enough. She just yelled, I'm autistic. Stay home, Grandma. Stay home. Watch it on, have your grandson show you how YouTube works. And maybe you'll feel involved without having to cry and have your hand touched so you could start screaming that you're autistic. Holy moly. It's crazy. Here's another lunatic. We might as well talk about some liberal lunatics. This clip would be AC4. This is a woman. You know, Donald Trump, he loves the history of this country. Part of the history of this country has been the pomp and circumstance, the statues, the monuments in D.C. I'll tell you one thing. Unless you have business in Washington, D.C., there is no reason to go there except for the monuments, museums, the Air and Space Museum's great, Smithsonian. But to just walk around Washington, D.C., it's the amazing buildings, the architecture, the monuments that are amazing. They've been iconic in D.C. for so long, and they are amazing to see in person. They have fallen into a disgraceful state. The statues are covered with crap. None of the fountains were working. They shut off the water to all of the fountains from what I'm going to talk about, the reflecting pool, which had so much algae and gunk in it. It stunk. It was disgusting to look at. And a lot of the statues didn't have water in them. And they were crusty. People had put graffiti on them. And Donald Trump said, the capital of this country, Washington, D.C., this amazing place, why does it look like garbage? And allotted money to fix it. As a taxpayer, I would so much rather money go to that than go to paying for hotel rooms for illegal aliens in this country. Call me crazy, but I think there's a hell of a lot more crazy people that think the same damn thing. I like the idea that we as a nation are proud enough of what we built, of Washington, D.C., the capital of this country, being the representation of this country. When a dignitary comes to D.C. and looks around and goes, wow, they really appreciate this country. This place looks good. There's not garbage around it and graffiti painted on these amazing monuments. So Donald Trump decides, let's drain this swamp, no pun intended, that is the reflecting pool between the Lincoln Memorial and the Washington Monument. And let's redo the bottom. It was leaking, I think they said 40,000 gallons a day of water was just leaking out of it. Let's fix it, seal it up, put a new liner type thing that is very reflective when water's on it, and fix it. Yeah, it costs money. That's something I think a lot of taxpayers are fine with. Fine with it. It represents us. It's like if you own a business, you want your lawn and your front door to your business to look good. It's representative of who you are and how you do business. That's DC. So we did it. And they're still filling it up as far as I know. But from what I saw already, it looks amazing. It's clean. It doesn't smell like a swamp. And you could already see the reflection of the picture I saw of the Washington Monument in the water. Mission accomplished. But because it's Donald Trump and because they've been told that somehow this has to be bad, no one on the left can look at it and go, wow, that's great. Job well done. I can't stand this guy. I don't like his policies, whatever it is. But this was a good one. Cannot happen. So let's listen to this woman, AC4, about Trump rebuilding the reflecting pool.
I honestly think it's just about him. It's his ego. And he's saying, well, I did this because he has no control of the government. So at least he can control the grounds because they don't have any answer in response. Seeing all this, it's sad. It's really sad.
It's sad. A clean, refurbished reflecting pool in the capital of the United States, the place that represents us as a nation. You have a problem? You have a problem with that? You got a problem with that? This is what they call, I don't use the term because it's so hacky. It's been used so many times. Trump derangement syndrome. But it is. It's to the point where you hate this guy so much based on nothing more than what you've heard from propaganda outlets and your dopey blue-haired friends, that even if he does something that right in front of your face is good, It looks good. It smells good. You have to crap all over it. Pride in your country is a bad thing. Making your monuments look good again after years of neglect under these presidents and leadership that doesn't care. That's a bad thing. And he's only doing this because he can't run the country. Isn't he doing things that you hate? Isn't he destroying democracy? If that's the case, then he's at least doing something, right? How could he be doing nothing in government that he has to refurbish a reflecting pool to make himself look good if he's not doing anything in the government that you complain about every single day? And if it's for his ego, I've said this many times, as far as a politician goes, if they take on a project based on their ego and wanting some kind of legacy and to look good, if that's a good thing that they're doing, who cares what their motive was? You want to talk about a great example of the end justifies the means. If Donald Trump wants people years from now to look at the reflecting pool in D.C. and go, wow, this looks great. And then some old guy comes over and goes, Donald Trump refurbished this and it looks. And the person turns around and goes, Anthony from the Anthony Cumia show? Yes, that's me, Sonny. And scene. No, if he wants people to remember that he did that, yeah, great. Who cares? What's wrong with wanting to be proud of the job you've done? But these are the type of people that have no concept of pride in work, pride in who you are and what you do. All they want to do is cause problems, be contrarian to every single thing that someone's trying to do to improve something, and bitch and complain and moan about everything. Oh, he's just doing that to look good. Yeah. Do you understand? As the president, that's kind of his job, to do things where people go, wow, that was good. The president did something good. What's his name? Let's write that in a history book. That's been every president in the history of this country. But they just can't let it go. If it's good and it's Trump, it's bad. It's got to be the way it is. Oh, no. Did I lose my phones? I lost my phones. Oh, did I hit something? Or was it at your end, New York? Well, I'll have to go on to something else then. I appreciate your calls. Believe that. Okay, this is Sunny Hostin. Sunny Hostin from The View. The girls from The View. She's going to talk about illegals and how, if you pay your taxes, it doesn't matter. Go screw. Because illegals are paying more taxes than you are. This is AC9.
Most undocumented immigrants pay more taxes than anyone. And we should also mention that they're 5 times less likely to commit crimes than Americans.
They pay more taxes than anyone. Anyone. First of all, I'd like to know how you know. If an illegal alien isn't paying taxes, how do you know they're not paying taxes? If they are paying taxes, how do you know they're illegal? Do they write down, I am an illegal alien when they pay taxes? How do they get a social security number? The fact is, most illegal aliens are not paying taxes. The vast majority are not. What she's really saying is illegal aliens that pay taxes are paying their taxes. Well, what about the ones that aren't? It is known this is a cash gig. The vast majority of illegals in this country get cash. They don't get checks. They don't have taxes taken out of their paychecks, FICA and unemployment and state taxes and Medicaid. None of that. It's, did you do your work? See. And then you hand them a handful of cash and away they go. They're not back where they live trying to figure out how much cash they made during the year and how much old Uncle Sam ought to get. It's a lie. It is a lie. And as far as the crime thing goes, again, how do you know? How do you know anything about the crime? And one of the concepts, they're committing more crime than Americans. What does that mean? And one thing they never understand, it's a little term, look it up, it's called per capita. Per capita. Now, if you look at the American population of 350 odd million, and you look at the number of crimes they commit per capita based on how many illegals are here in this country and how much crime do they commit, I think you'd be surprised. And by the way, technically speaking, they're all committing crimes coming across the border in the first place. So once again, Sonny Hostin is bending over, grabbing each cheek, and speaking her mind right through it. Back in a minute. Don't go anywhere.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show. Entertaining and informative. On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show. I got my phones back. And, hey, thanks, everybody, for tuning in on this Sunday. We do appreciate your support with this very program. Max in Manhattan. What's up, Max?
Yes, Anthony, thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
You did not keep up to your end of the bargain. You said we were going to get more Jesse Ventura and more Bob Grant.
No. Yeah, I know. I've been with these serious topics that, I apologize. I'm gonna do better. I'm gonna do better, Max.
Can I add something else?
Certainly.
Okay. Some time ago, when Michelle Bachmann was still a congresswoman, she wrote a letter to the Deputy Inspector General Geisel, and it basically said, in a nutshell, we have to be careful of all the people that Hillary Clinton is hiring right now, because a lot of them are ties to the Muslim Brotherhood, like Anthony Weiner's ex-wife.
Right. One of our best friends.
Best carnal friends, right?
Yeah, well,
yes.
Who knows?
And I mean, if that's true, that's their business. But when it comes to politics and the Muslim Brotherhood, then it's our business. If this was going on back then, how much more now? How much more with Mandani?
With Mandani in there, yeah, exactly. And as far as Hillary goes, though, I think her motive is money more than anything, money and power. But what do you think her angle is as far as aligning with the Muslim Brotherhood or Mamdani to get money in her big hipped pants pockets?
Well, I mean, I guess when you're in that level of politics, you have to be able to dance at a ballroom with different people and know what type of dance they're going to do. So this explains, what type of, who's running the show. She has to be able to dance with who's running the show. If it's Soros, fine. If it's Mamdani, it's a Muslim Brotherhood, she has to be able to dance with them.
Yeah,
so
she's not
if
loyal
this was happening
to anyone.
Back then,
Yep, she's not loyal to anyone.
And, it used to be where there was a guy by the name of Aaron Klein, and he used to pull up all this garbage. And I'm sure if he was still doing reporting now, he'd pull up tons of garbage on Mamdani and his associations. I'm sure he has associations with Plano, Texas. That place has 330 mosques in there already.
Yeah, all the mosques they built there. Jeez, what are we doing as a country? Why are we allowing this? It's disgusting. Max, I'm going to have to let you go. We're a little short on time here. I think I have enough time to we'll leave with something a little fun. Seth Rogen, I've bashed him for being an old guy who's still so into weed. And I get it. I don't want to sound like somebody that's like, oh, You shouldn't smoke weed once you get older. No, have at it. Have a blast. But his whole life, his whole persona is pot. And it just seems like, enough. You know, you don't want to, if someone decides to smoke, that's fine. But I don't think you want to push anyone into it. And his just obsession with weed seems to be unhealthy, especially to people that might like him as a person, young people that might go like, oh, I want to be like Seth Rogen. But here he is talking about weed. This is AC7.
I smoke weed all day, every single day since I was 20 years old, maybe, something like that.
20.
Yeah. I equate it to shoes or glasses. Like, are shoes like a crutch we use, or are they a thing that we have culturally decided make our lives easier and better? You know, that is exactly how weed is to me. Could I not wear shoes? Probably. Could I not smoke weed? Probably. Would I just much rather smoke weed all day? Yes.
Now, I don't know if he's trying to be funny there, but I think he's serious. I think he looks at smoking weed every day like wearing shoes, putting on your shirt. That seems like a problem. That seems like you're trying to rationalize something that isn't very good. And look, shoes, yeah, you put shoes on so you don't cut your feet up when you're going out. We live in a civil society. You're supposed to cover up your ugly, stupid feet. Trying to equate weed smoking to something everyone does every day, like putting on their shoes, is a terrible way to try to rationalize that you are smoking a mind-altering drug every single minute of every day. He claims to smoke all the time. The second he wakes up till the second he goes to sleep, he is affected by weed. And I know a lot of people that smoke, and they say, well, after a while, you don't even notice that you're high. It's just a thing. Well, I think that's the point. You're not noticing you're high. I don't even know the physical implications to smoking weed all the time. But mentally, it cannot be good. Anything that takes you away from who you really are and how you really think without drugs or alcohol cannot be healthy, physically or mentally. And as a kid, it was kind of fun that this guy is such a stoner, and he made movies about being a stoner. But as you get older, it's just not cute anymore. Who did they tell? What was that? Mommy Dearest? When they said it's just not cute anymore, Joan. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. We do adore your support, and we will be back next Sunday with more of the Anthony Cumia Show. So have yourselves a great week. Anthony Cumia on X. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for listening to the Anthony Cumia Show. You can hear the Anthony Cumia Show Sunday nights at 8. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?